Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to talk today about things that Americans do that are related to restaurants. Now, these aren't always related to restaurants, but a lot of them are restaurant related. I have eaten in restaurants outside of the United States, so I do have somewhat of an idea about how restaurants outside of the United States work. It's limited. It's not like I've been to a lot of restaurants outside of the United States, and so because of that, I don't have a wealth of understanding. I've been to restaurants in Canada, Italy, and Japan, so those are the only experiences really that I can speak to. Other than, obviously, restaurants here in the United States. So, let's get into it. Ice in drinks. Now, once again, like I said, this is something that is related to restaurants in the United States. But, the thing is that if I want a glass of water at home, I will often put ice in my water. I prefer the water to be cold, very cold, as opposed to just from the tap cold. And yes, the water here, I have lived in places where it was not advisable to drink the water from the tap and to get your water from either bottled water or they did have some places where basically a guy would come around, I think it was about once a week or so, and you could buy water from him. Anyway, I prefer ice in my drinks. Definitely don't like warm water. Just ugh. The thing is that it's interesting that you put ice into a glass of water, and it's not like you did anything special, but suddenly the water doesn't taste the same as it did before, and having warm water just it tastes wrong. And I admit that this is probably the fact that over the years I have drunk ice water more than I've drunk even lukewarm water. So my preference is to have ice water, and I think that that's kind of the same with the rest of the people in the United States. It's just been so common that we drink ice, that we have our drinks with ice in them, that to not have them cold is really weird. I understand that here in the United States, people who drink beer tend to put it in the fridge and drink it cold. Now, they wouldn't necessarily put ice in their beer. And I know that in countries in Europe, they don't do that. They do not chill the beer, and they drink it basically room temperature. And I know that it can change the flavor. And so I think that that's kind of the same situation with just ice in drinks in general. It's just that the United States has for so long been drinking drinks with ice in them that we just don't like them now, without the ice, or at least having a cold drink. It's not like if I get a soda in a can that I'm going to open the soda and pour it into a cup with ice if the soda had been refrigerated. Now, if the soda was just, I got it out of the closet, it hadn't been in the refrigerator, I'm definitely putting ice in it, because it just is not going to taste right without it being cold. So I hope that kind of gets to the heart of it and why we do it that way. Moving on. Free drink refills. I'm not entirely sure on this one. The thing is that when I was growing up, restaurants in the United States did not do free drink refills. My children have never experienced that. Basically, all the restaurants that we go to, they're going to have free drink refills. And it's just so common now that you can't go anywhere that doesn't have free drink refills. Now, this is not free drink refills on everything. Free drink refills, it's only on what we call fountain drinks or sodas. So in this case, the image I've got here, it's of a Coca-Cola machine that's serving different flavors of Fanta. And this, in this instance, the customer is actually getting the drink themselves. This is not the worker, whoever's there at the restaurant. It's not them getting the drink. What they do is, in a lot of the fast food restaurants, so McDonald's, if you're familiar with McDonald's, and most of the world should be, the thing is that the soda fountain where you would get your drinks is not actually behind the counter with the workers. It's actually out front with the customers. So you go up to the counter, you order your meal, and you and you get a cup. They give you the cup. Then you go over to the soda fountain and you fill it with whatever soda or mix of sodas, if you want, that you happen to fancy. Now, things like if you go to a bar and you're ordering cocktails or mixed drinks or anything like that, or if you're going to more of a sit-down style restaurant where you're going to, you may be getting wine with dinner, those don't come with free refills. It's just the sodas. Now, part of the reason that they do have free refills is because of the cost. Basically, the cost of a free refill of soda is negligible to the restaurant. They may be spending 50 cents on the drink and charging you like $2.50, and because of that markup, you can get several free refills before you actually go beyond what you've actually paid for the drink. And because of that markup, and the other thing being, most people don't fill up their drink more than, say, twice. So they'll fill it up initially and then they'll get one free refill, and then they're done with their meal. They're too full to fill it up again. They may, drink some of it and then go and top it off before they leave the restaurant. So it's more like they get 2.5 refills before they leave. And because of that, the restaurant is still making money on the fact that they sold them the drink in the first place. Like I said, when I was younger, there were no free refills. It was one drink, and then if you wanted another drink, you basically paid again for another drink. However, once one fast food restaurant started offering free drinks, everybody else basically followed suit. They kind of had to, because if I could go down the street and go to a fast food restaurant and get a free refill, and McDonald's isn't offering free refills, then why would I go to McDonald's? I can get as many drinks as I want from this other restaurant, and so why would I do that? So basically, free refills are here to stay. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea. I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea. We are getting more sugar in our diet because of it, but at the same time, the restaurants are making such good money off of the markup between what it's costing them to give me a drink and how much I'm paying them to get that drink. I feel it's justified that they give me at least one free refill. And so, some restaurants will do that. You get one free refill. But pretty much on all soft drinks, on all these type fountain drink type drinks. All right. Portion size. 20 years ago, it was a 3-inch diameter donut or bagel. Don't know what that picture is. And today it's a 6-inch diameter bagel or donut, and it's gone from 140 to 350 calories, which is a total calorie difference of 210 calories. Portion size in the United States has gotten way out of hand. I can't say that I disapprove. I like going to a restaurant and feeling like I'm getting my money's worth. Heck, I'm paying a lot of money to go in and sit down at your restaurant. I shouldn't come out of your restaurant feeling like, well, that was a waste of money. I could have eaten better at home, kind of thing. And this is obviously from my perspective. I can't say that that this is what's going through the heads of the business owners, obviously. But what I can say is that it's been getting easier to get more and more ingredients. And so they've been able to increase the portion size and still make money on what they sell. And as this portion size has jumped from year to year, it's not like it was an overnight thing. It wasn't like I woke up this morning and suddenly portion sizes were doubled. It's something that was slowly being implemented like this. It has doubled. We went from a 3-inch diameter, whatever this picture happens to be, to a 6-inch diameter, whatever this happens to be. And that's been in 20 years. So it's slowly progressed to being more and more. And because of that, we do have a portion size problem. We tend to eat a lot more than we should. When we go out to restaurants, I can't say that I've gone to a restaurant in recent memory and come out not feeling overly full. I definitely have and this is something that has come from the Great Depression era. I know it's kind of weird to say this, but my grandparents went through the Great Depression, at least a little bit. I think they were just kids at the time, and you didn't waste anything. I remember seeing my grandmother collect plastic forks. We were, at a family picnic or whatever, and so we had the plastic forks rather than having the silverware. And yes, plastic is its own problem, but 20 years ago, actually it would have been more like 30 years ago, with my grandmother grabbing these plastic forks, she would take them home and wash them. And then if we had another family party, picnic or whatever, chances are we were using the same forks that we used at the previous family party. So, like I said, there was this mentality of not wasting things, and it's just kind of come down through the years. So even though portion size has increased, you feel obligated to eat everything on your plate because of, my grandparents. They basically told my parents that they had to eat everything on their plate because they grew up where it was a huge burden to waste anything. And so because of that, you have these people who then raised me, who wouldn't allow me to waste anything either. And so we have this tendency to eat more than we should because of the Great Depression. It's kind of weird to say it that way, but that mentality of not wasting things has gone down through the years. I only found out like maybe 20 years ago or so that my dad, when we would go to these family gatherings, he would purposefully break his forks and yes, I realize this was wasteful, but kind of less so at the time. But he would break his forks so that my grandma wouldn't be able to recycle them and have them again. He didn't approve of it, of saving the plastic forks and stuff. I'm not going to say that he thought that we should have like just thrown them away, but recycling was definitely something that my dad would have done, but he didn't like the way my grandmother just would grab them and wash them and reuse them. Anyway, I found that out from my aunt. She noticed my dad doing it once. Anyway, so portion size, it's a problem. I don't think it's ever going to get under control. Not until like we as Americans figure out how to deal with portion size in a healthy manner. But there you go. Okay, this actually goes back to the portion size that I just talked about. Now, once again, we don't waste things. We've been raised not to waste things. And because of that, if you go to a restaurant and you can't finish your food because the portion was too big, then you get a doggy bag. I'm not entirely sure why we call it a doggy bag. It could be that the reason we call it a doggy bag is because people would then take the leftover food home to their dogs. And so it was a bag for the food that the dog's going to eat, so it's a doggy bag. But this again goes back to that we don't waste food mentality that we've just had bred into us because of what our country went through in the Great Depression. We don't waste food. And if you go to a restaurant and you have, portion sizes that are too big to finish in one sitting, yeah, you're going to have food wastage. And so instead of wasting that food, we get a doggy bag and we take that food home. There have been plenty of times when I have gone to a restaurant and gotten my meal and then packaged up the rest to bring to work the next day. And still I left the restaurant feeling overfull. So those are doggy bags. I heartily approve of them. I found out in a recent article, I was looking up stuff for this particular video, and I found out that in France, they had to actually enact a law to get people to use doggy bags because of all the food wastage that they were having to deal with. So I heartily think that any place, whether or not the portion size is under control or not, that you should have doggy bags because it just cuts down on food wastage. Maybe I'm going out with friends, but I had a very big lunch at work because we had a client coming in, and so I'm going to a restaurant with my friends later that night, and I'm just full, and even if I get something small, it's going to be more than I want to eat. If I have a doggy bag, I can take it home and I can eat it later. Yeah, maybe it's not as good as it was at the restaurant, but at least I'm not wasting food. And that's, one of the takeaways here is they're awesome because you're not wasting food. And heck, if you don't eat it, you can bring it home. Maybe somebody else at your house wants to eat it. Maybe you have a dog and the dog would enjoy it. You just, at that point, you're not wasting food. And that's the big deal there. The last thing is tipping. I don't like tipping. I think it's stupid. Tipping to me should be if the waiter goes above and beyond, or the cook even. I sit down at a restaurant and my meal is the best I've ever had. That would be an opportunity for me to reward that effort of the chef, of the cook, not the waiter. The waiter just brings me my food. Now, I'm not saying here that maybe if I have a large party that maybe I want to because the waiter has to deal with more people, that maybe I'm going to give the waiter a bit of consideration for the fact that he's dealing with a lot more people than usual. Yeah, that might be a tipping situation. But I shouldn't be tipping the waiter for just doing their job. A tip should be I'm tipping you for going above and beyond what's required. Your wage is what should be paid to you for just doing the bare minimum, just doing your job. And I don't feel that I should subsidize that. I would much rather pay a little bit extra on my meal than have to pay extra on a tip after the meal. I don't know what more to add. I do like the fact that in the restaurants that I went to when I was abroad, did not require tipping in some of those restaurants. I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I've been to Canada, and one of the last times I went to Canada, I was there with my uncle, and he basically took care of the check. And so I think they do keep tipping in Canada, but it's been a very long time since I was there in Canada. And like I said, if you're gonna tip somebody, it should be for something extraordinary that they did, not just for taking your order and bringing you your food. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what his wages should be there to pay for. Now, if, for whatever reason, I don't know, you just really hit it off and you find that waiter is engaging, intelligent, and just beyond what a normal waiter is, yeah, sure, go ahead and tip him. That's great. That's awesome. If the food was particularly excellent, yeah, maybe you should give the chef a tip. But just because the guy wrote down your order, got it right, which he's supposed to do, and then brought it to your table and didn't spill it on anyone on the way there, and that should be it. End of transaction. I pay for my food and I leave. I shouldn't be also subsidizing your wages. That should be the company you're working for. They should be paying you for that. So I know that a lot of Americans feel that way, but I don't know that a lot of Americans are going to do anything about it. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully I was able to explain a few things in better detail to you who are curious about why we do the weird things that we do here in the United States. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Like and subscribe, and until next time.